Well, welcome, listeners. And I was just catching up with Steffi on the line here from Keep Me AI. Thank you so much for joining us today from the UK, Steph. How you been?
Very well, thank you. Oh, that's very British of me to say, isn't it? Very well.
Sounds about right.
How about you, Brian? How's things on your side of the world?
Well, we've had a cold snap. Not much I can say about that because you all have had quite the snow and the weather I've seen. So we've been going through some similar things down in the deep south here. But it's the new year. It's 2026. HFA is right around the corner. FIBO's right after. There's a lot of stuff happening, and I know you have a lot of stuff going on. And Steph, and thanks again for joining us and looking at your background. And I've looked at your beginning in club operations and really coming from an operational roots and then into gym sales and then into ABC. And now, congrats on your recent appointment as president for Keep Me AI. And I know you've been there a little over 2 years. What brought you to the fitness space and how did you end up in an AI company in the fitness space? Tell us your story.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite an interesting one, actually. No, so I started in operations, you're right, at the very beginning as a membership consultant of all, and worked my way through. And I mean, I love the fitness space. I mean, how can you not? It's so contagious. It's full of great people. I mean, it's such a great space to be in. It's happy people, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, worked my way through. Worked with operators like Good Life Health Clubs and Go Health
Good.
Clubs. And what people don't know is on my other part of my life, outside of work. Yes, I have a life outside of work. I actually ride horses competitively as well.
Mhm.
And so I was doing that as well, but really needed to move over to here because I was in Australia. And I had a mentor at the time who said, you can do what you're doing with running health clubs over there as well. So go and do it. So I literally came in the next day, resigned, which was what he told me was not what I was meant to do, but I did. And then moved to the UK. And I was again working in operations over here, you know, running opening clubs and everything like that with the likes of Snap Fitness. And
Mhm.
I just got a little bit over operator life, if I'm being brutally
Yeah.
honest. And an opportunity presented itself with gym sales. So with Tristan, and I jumped at it, and that was looking after the UK and Europe region. And as you know, they eventually then sold out into ABC, stayed with them for a couple of years. And I actually just had a off the cuff sort of conversation with Ian here at Keep Me. And I got off the call and I went, that's a business I want to be a part of. So I dropped him a message straight away and said, if you've ever got an opening, please do let me know. And literally, I think within the next 2 weeks, it all kind of happened and yeah, made the transition. And I haven't looked back since. So AI is such a great space to be in. And I knew that Keep Me was leading the way in it. And I knew that, you know, Ian is such a visionary. If you've met him before, he's
Oh,
just
yeah.
always looking for the latest and the greatest. And hence I wanted to be a part of it. And I'm so glad I have.
Well, great. That's a great story. I love it. I particularly like the operational beginnings because there's really no replacement, having been an operator, especially when you start talking about technologies, because you can very much, if you don't have an appreciation for some of the detail, it's really helpful when you go to deploy enterprise solutions because you have vision into what is actually happening every day, right? I think that's
Yeah.
a great advantage. So, if anybody, we're recording this, on the 3rd or the 4th of February of 2026. I make that note because we'll probably publish this a week or so later. But the reason is I don't know what the hell's going to be announced between when we're talking now by the time we post this. But I thought we would go into what is going on now. I mean, for people that haven't been under a rock, Claude Cowork, Claude Code, you see this new these Agentic tools, and there's a lot of wow, interesting things you're already seeing people do with this code, a capability, right? With agentic AI, we see, Gemini just all of a sudden just flex their muscle with OpenAI trying to do a funding round, which NVIDIA said time out. Because now, people are looking at the landscape. I mean, it's changing really quickly. You see the markets starting to discount the value of SaaS business models because enterprise CRMs and other tools, SAP and these other tools, people are starting to go, is there really a disruptive force on the horizon that's going to really hurt our business models? There's a lot that's happening like within a matter of the recent weeks, right? So from your vantage point, I mean, give us some of your insights as to the present day. I mean, what is your commentary on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's such an exciting space. I always I like to draw comparisons. And you look at, say, the I don't know, Wild Wide Web, so www. It took years for it to become, part of the norm.
Yeah.
It has taken AI 2 years to become
Mhm.
part of the norm. And as you've just alluded to, I mean, the speed that it's constantly evolving at. I mean, the big four are always trying to do each other, aren't they? One releases thing, then the next one releases something better, and the next one releases something better. But it's just rapidly evolving. I think you are absolutely right. We've been saying it for the last couple of months. CRMs will not exist in,
Mhm.
I'd say, in 12 months' time, because you've got these agents that are able to take away the tasks, and actually CRMs are just not going to exist.
Mhm.
And it's for the first time ever, they're being able to really fulfill that entire loop. The one that we obviously do is the lead generation, and then it goes and it books into the CRM, and then obviously does all the confirmations. But you won't need the CRM. All you need is a data set.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, data lakes, key, you structured and unstructured data, and you just lay that agentic layer right on top of it. And then I don't know if most people can appreciate what we're talking about because, I've been involved in CRMs. I was an early adopter of Salesforce, done enterprise technology deployments across numbers of industries. And you literally have to take your brain from where you're thinking this is to a place that doesn't really exist because you have to do all this work to make the CRMs work. And that kind of just goes away, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, when we brought this into the space, probably, what was it, in August 2024, we knew that Antares was an orchestration layer. So we knew
Yep.
that it was a data set. Now, what we couldn't do was we couldn't go out to the market and say, hey, we're your agentic platform, because
Right.
they never would have understood it. Like, they would have been like, agents, what? What does it do?
Mhm.
We don't even set up an automation in our CRM. So we went out with a sales agent because it was easy for the industry to understand. Everyone has a sales funnel. Everyone has a leaking sales funnel. And actually, it's easy to put an ROI to it as well.
Mhm.
So it was a natural place for us to start. What we didn't envisage was how quickly the industry would adopt it. I mean, we did
Mhm.
well over 30 onboardings last year alone. And then, mid-year, you probably would have seen that we went out and we said, well, actually, it's not just a sales agent. It is an orchestration layer.
Mhm.
And what we mean by that is it's your data set, and then you
Mhm.
plug in your tasks,
Mhm.
So sales agent is one, then you'll have a collections agent, then you'll have a
Mhm.
cancellations agent. They're just tasks. That's all that
Mhm.
you're doing, and all that you're giving an agent to do is you're just saying, right, here's my data set. Here's what I need you to connect into or plug into. And this is the task that I want you to complete.
Mhm. So we get an idea of the present day, all right? So people are using this technology. Now you see Agentic start to become more and more of a thing. Where do you see it going? Steffi, where do you think you're going to see in the next couple of years with respect to actual deployment of these tools? And what's the possibility in your mind?
Yeah, every operator will have an agent within their business in the next, and if they don't in the next 12 months, they'll be left behind. And you will end up having a series of agents. So not only would you have your sales agent, but you'll have your collections agent, you'll have your cancellations agent, you'll have your operations agent. Anything that requires a manual task, the agent will take over. I mean, I always say, I think there's always this fear, and I'm going to address it because I think it's always a question that comes into people's brain is it's going to take jobs. There's still that conversation going on. Will it? Absolutely. It definitely will. But what it also does is it actually creates a space for more opportunity. We've seen
Mhm.
operators where they've increased their sales funnel, they've had more
Mhm.
output come in, and they've actually had to increase their teams that are in club because they need more people to do the tours and the more conversations and the bit that they're actually good at, which is the in-person interactions. And I think that's where the agents they add power. Do you know what I mean? They allow the manual tasks to disappear, and they remove, I guess, the worst work from our people.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so, with respect to that, when it comes to those tasks, do you see the idea of work? How do you see, in a club setting or from an executive enterprise perspective, what's your view to the point of will it create or eliminate jobs? How do you think jobs are going to change with respect to the technology? Is it a co-working situation? I mean, some agentic tasks will run on their own, right? But there's also going to be work that's going to require a co-worker dynamic, I'd assume. What do you think about the use of the technology and how it will affect the jobs?
Yeah, I think it works in parallel. You're absolutely right. Will it replace jobs? Absolutely, in some part, but it does work in parallel because our people, and we work in the fitness space, right? Like our people are really good at those in-person interactions, and it's what they should be doing. But then they get caught up in, front of house team. You look at it, you go into a big athletic club, or you go into, even just a normal sort of gym, and the poor front of house person is being asked about cancellations. They're being asked about how do I join? Then they're asking about creche or what they need to do to book in for the class, and then they've got to process a freeze, and they've got all these things. And actually, an agent can take care of all of that. The agent can process the freezing the membership. The agent can book them in for the class. The agent can handle the cancellation request. And then actually that front of house person can do what they're great at, which is have those interactions and actually therefore keep your members longer.
Yep, yep. And the ROI on that, we all know what that means. So that's a great answer. So, Steph, given your journey, including your horse racing background, which I did not know, I'm glad you shared it. I always ask folks like you that join us to give some insights, or I call them pearls of wisdom. I don't know if I think you might understand that term. So, because of your journey, I mean, what you've gone through, where you are now in this realm of change, what are a couple of things that you think the listeners should keep in mind when it comes to their careers, their roles, and what they're trying to do in light of all this stuff going on?
Good question. I could take that off in so many directions.
Yeah.
There's one thing I always give people guidance on, and that's in business, and to do with, I guess, what we do day to day, and that's keep it simple. Don't try and invent the wheelhouse. Just keep it simple. The other thing which I give people like that ask me, how I got to where I am and everything, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission at times. Sometimes you just got to go and do it. And if it's the wrong thing, then learn from it. Don't make the same mistake again, but just go after it, make it happen. And I'm a big believer in that.
That's a wonderful insight. I know that'd be very valued by the folks. I'm so grateful that you're able to stop by today and have a nice chat about what's going on in the world of AI. I look forward to seeing you at a number of upcoming events. We've mentioned the HFA event, of course, the FIBO, and all the other events that are coming up beyond Active and the like. So I cannot wait to see you in person and talk more about AI here in the coming weeks.
Thank you for having me, Bryan. It's going to be an exciting year.
Yes, it is. Take care.
Thank you. You too.